in Xfinity, his rookie year in Cup. He's gone 3 straight on the road, and he's going to burn it down in his first Cup start here in wine country.
This is becoming old hat, as a classic idiom would articulate it. Shane van Gisbergen has won 3 consecutive road or street course races in the NASCAR Cup Series. He's now amongst the elite when it comes to all the statistics that matter most these days. While his 3 victories tie Kyle Larson, Denny Hamlin, and Christopher Bell for the most wins in 2025, they're all within the top 6 of the overall championship standings. SVG sits at 27th place. How does someone with the same number of wins as the championship leaders find himself buried this deep in the standings? Another road course win was so expected for Shane van Gisbergen that Trackhouse Racing had extra tires ready for his Sonoma Raceway victory celebration. The New Zealander once again showed he's in a completely different class on road and street courses than his rivals. He led 97 of 110 laps to win from pole at Sonoma Raceway. Those 97 laps led represent the most ever for a Sonoma winner, eclipsing Jeff Gordon's previous high watermark of 92 set in 2004. Van Gisbergen was so dominant that he even won the second stage despite a late pit stop. After pitting with just over 2 laps to go in the stage, Van Gisbergen was second to Kyle Larson on the last lap. He easily passed the Cup Series champion for the stage win. Larson hadn't pitted during the stage. That's how much faster Van Gisbergen was. The celebration itself told the story. He performed the traditional burnout, then his Trackhouse crew changed the tires on the number. 88 Chevrolet so he could do a second smoke-inducing spin on his way to victory lane. He kept with his own tradition and kicked a rugby ball into the grandstands. It means everything. That's why I race cars. I had an amazing time in Australia, and then to come here in the last couple weeks, or years actually, has been a dream come true, said Van Gisbergen. I've really enjoyed my time in NASCAR. Thanks everyone for making me feel so welcome. I hope I'm here for a long time to come. Van Gisbergen tied Hall of Famer Jeff Gordon's mark of 3 consecutive road course victories from the pole with Sunday's dominating victory at Sonoma Raceway. Gordon accomplished his feat in the 1998-99 seasons. All 3 of Van Gisbergen's wins this year have been from pole position. His road course victories have come at Mexico, Chicago, and now Sonoma in the last 5 races. The speed at which he's accumulated these wins is staggering. Van Gisbergen is the fastest driver to win 4 Cup Series races in his 34th start since Parnelli Jones in 1969. He's also the winningest driver born outside the United States. The rookie comparison is equally impressive. It ties him with Tony Stewart and Jimmy Johnson for the most wins in a rookie NASCAR Cup Series season. With more road course races at Watkins Glen and Charlotte to come, Van Gisbergen could conceivably eclipse that record. With victory in the NASCAR Cup Series at Sonoma, Shane van Gisbergen ended one of the category's longest spells between drinks. It marked the first time since November 13, 2011, that a car carrying Red Bull as its primary sponsor won a Cup Series race. That's 4,991 days between victories. Casey Connie was the last to do it in the Cobalt Tools 500 at Phoenix Raceway, driving a Toyota. Back then, the energy drink giant ran its own operation under the Team Red Bull banner. The squad was run by Dietrich Mateschitz and Chaleo Uvidia and managed by Jay Fry, who later went on to run IndyCar. The team folded at the end of 2011, and Red Bull sponsorship was not seen on a car again in NASCAR until Van Gisbergen arrived. Victory number 4 for Van Gisbergen seemed a given before teams even arrived at the picturesque course in California wine country. His rivals have lamented that SVG has a specific braking technique he mastered down under that none of them can ever learn. They're all oval specialists who simply cannot replicate what he does on road courses. The winner of 81 Australian supercars races on the way to 3 championships in the series. Van Gisbergen already is being touted as perhaps the best road course racer in NASCAR history. He's driving a type of car he has driven for well over a decade. This familiarity with similar machinery gives him an advantage that's proving impossible to overcome. Most of it is Shane, said crew chief Stephen Dorn after the race. We did get the car better. He was not happy with it in practice. We made a bunch of changes for today. Made the right changes, and he was pretty happy with it today. And he was able to control the race, save his tires, kind of just manage his gap and use them at the end when he needed them. When asked about these specific changes, Doran said coyly, "There might be, but I'm not going to tell you that." Van Gisbergen did not ask for a single adjustment all race. Whatever changes Doran ordered overnight, they were enough for his driver to handle the rest on Sunday in Sonoma. Here's where this story gets absolutely wild. Van Gisbergen was 33rd in the standings and not yet qualified for the playoffs just 5 weeks ago. Now, despite sitting 27th in points, he's moved into 3rd for playoff seeding. His 17 playoff points rank 3rd in the series at this point, trailing only Larson with 23 playoff points and Hamlin with 19. Trackhouse Racing is capitalizing on the system thanks to a driver with an elite road racing skill set. Van Gisbergen has accumulated the 3rd most number of playoff points through this point of the season. Those in the top 10 of the final regular season championship standings will be rewarded for their consistency with additional playoff points. But SVG is getting to the point where he's accumulating enough of a buffer that he could survive the first round. The first round elimination could lead him to the second round that contains the Charlotte Roval. There's still one more road course race remaining in the regular season at Watkins Glen, giving Van Gisbergen an outside shot at a 5-win rookie campaign. By his own words, Van Gisbergen is under no illusion that he is ready to start challenging for wins on ovals. His good days have gone from 30th to 25th and now 20th over the first 6 months of the season. Sunday's win was his 3rd top 5 finish of the season and just his 4th top 10 finish. The 36-year-old entered Sunday's race 27th in the point standings in his first full-time Cup Series season and has been an absolute zero on any track that isn't a road course.
And it might be here as opposed to racing IMSA or in other forms of racing.
Yeah, that's a good point. I hadn't thought of it in that or through that lens. You know, certainly Formula One, they're very specific about who owns the corner and who has the corner at the apex. You know, there are elements on corner exit where, oh, all that smoke is, sorry. Okay, nothing's on fire. You know, that scenario on corner exit I hadn't thought about, but I could see with his road course racing experience and not living in the world of spotters that on corner exit, if you don't see him at your door, that it's your area, your corner. I'm not sure if that's how it really played out. I didn't follow the dialogue after that, but I could see that scenario.
At the moment, he's much more likely to finish 16th and last among the playoff drivers than finish anywhere close to the top 10. He's never finished in the top 10 on a track that isn't a road course through his brief Cup Series career. There is just one road course in the playoffs.